Today I'm going to be talking about shared reading, questioning, and close reading. They all kind of go hand in hand because they're similar to each other in the fact that it's prompting students to actually understand text better and books better and not just read it and kind of know an outline of the story, but to really understand it, to know where the why the author wrote it, what the author is trying to make you envision, and it's really bringing that book to another level of critical thinking. And so I'm going to kind of focus on and kind of touch base on all three of them. The way that I would incorporate kind of all three, the close reading, the shared reading, and the questioning, is to get kind of a text that's more a little above the grade levels reading level. So I've kind of already done this in the second grade class. I chose the book Wonder. It's not a second grade read, it's more of like a fifth grade, sixth grade read. But we did it together, we read it together. I did have copies of the book, so the kids were able to read along with me and visually see it, and I was visually able to read it with animation, and I would stop. We would talk about what was going on in each chapter. I had those critical thinking questions. I actually found like a whole bunch of stuff on Book Wonder because it just came out in movie. We were actually able to read it, and I met some of my kids at the movies with their parents to actually go watch the movie when it came out. Really neat. Besides the point, the close reading and the shared reading and the questioning all went hand in hand when we were discussing it. Through each chapter we went, I stopped, I asked, we summarized it, I asked them, what do you think the author was trying to tell them? How do you think this character felt? How do you think that character felt? And it was really kind of more like a literature circle. We were all shared ideas, we all shared similar experiences, and it really gave those students that extra perspective. Like, this wasn't just a book for entertainment, it was a book and it had meaning behind it. The book had hidden messages in it, and it really made the students take a step back and realize that reading, there's a lot more to reading than just taking an AR test or just reading it because your teacher tells you to. Things have a lot more bigger meaning. I've had students come tell me, oh, well, miss, like, I researched it and I looked more up on it on the book Wonder, and I made my mom buy me a shirt. And I just think that because we had such a critical discussion and we shared those related experiences that related to the book, whether it be like in the book Wonder, they obviously bully this little boy Augie who has a face deformity. The fact that we were able to talk about that and understand why the author wrote the book and how we can use Augie's experiences in our own classroom and in our own lives really made these kids critical think. I questioned them. I did open-ended questions. It wasn't just yes or no questions. We wrote about it. We drew about it. We drew about the experiences. We acted out some of the experiences. So we kind of did all sorts of activities like arts and crafts, physical activity, moving, all having these students be able to question themselves and question the book and get that deeper understanding. So I think that's what close reading and questioning and shared reading is all about. It's I'm able as a teacher to help students understand the bigger meaning and the bigger topic and kind of guide them into figuring out what's the bigger meaning, what can we get out of the book other than just a story. And I think you can do that with any grade. I of course experienced it a little bit in elementary. I'm sure in middle school it's going to be a lot more deeper. It'll be a lot more interesting books with more explicit topics. And I really think in high school, to high schoolers, I feel like don't actually sit down and read. So to be able to go into this class, have the teacher read to you, have them close their eyes, to be able to visualize what's going on, to be able to critically analyze and to think and act out, I feel like high schoolers would be totally eaten up by it and engaged because you can pick topics that are more, like I said, explicit, more relatable to their lives, whether it be relationships or family problems or growing up. I think close reading and questioning and all that is especially important in the upper grades. Of course, it doesn't have to just be literature based. It can be or reading based. It could be, of course, switch to science or social studies, being able to do the deeper digging, to do research based projects, anything to get their minds questioning and going. Now I find my kids actually, even for reading a little book, not necessarily a chapter book, they're relating their experiences. They're questioning what's going on, why the author wrote it. And I think it just gives them that other perspective. So that's how I would use it in the classroom.